scared to death.
No, I think there's definitely not. He doesn't care who he plays in the Super Bowl.
Thank you.
Tom just wants to play in the Super Bowl and wants to win the
Can
Super
I
Bowl.
say this?
And that's what makes Tom Tom. The thing I'll say about the Giants that I do respect, and especially Eli. So going into the first Super Bowl, remember the owner was talking about whether or not Eli was even the quarterback that could get him to the Super Bowl, and then he proved him wrong there. And then the second Super Bowl, it was, is he an elite quarterback? There's all that discussion.
Before the
then,
season.
Then he's 8-1 in the playoffs. So I'm excited to see what Eli can do this round of the playoffs. And I like that storyline. You know, the Cowboys, I'm sure they're looking for redemption after getting beat twice by the Giants. So, you know, we'll see how that all plays out.
Tom Brady scared to death of the whole matchup. I'm going to tell you why. Scared to death. If he were to lose to Eli 3 times, how in the world could you be considered the greatest of all time when Eli Manning, who most people don't even think is a great quarterback, I have Tom Brady 3 times in the Super Bowl. You can't be the greatest of all time.
It's not a wrestling match. It's not a
quarterback. Come
you,
on, Eric.
You always
the media, and you know that, right? Don't we always talk about it?
2 seconds ago, it's the Giants defense can get him the Super Bowl. Now it's the quarterback. And where are we going with this?
I'm going to give Rob 1 point, though. I do think it was smart for Victor Cruz to say this for his team's sake, because to remind them that they did go on these runs before, and they do have a very good defense this year, a highly questionable offense. But the point is, they have potential to go on this kind of run. They don't want the Patriots, though. Trust me.
Off on
But
you.
that was
got me.
No, I already thought that last
that
night.
was
You didn't. I didn't get it from you. I already knew that.
Skip, that was a very different Victor Cruz
It
and
was.
Giants team that went on those runs.
Yeah.
Yeah, both those teams were very different. And look, it's nice to remind them, hey, we've had success in the playoffs, but it really doesn't matter what happened in the past. It has no bearing on what's going to happen in the future.
Rob thinks it.
No, I know, Rob. Whatever history says, then of course they're going to win. They won last time.
It's very important in sports. Don't forget
I
that,
know,
Eric. I'm trying to help you along
It's
here.
important.
Rob,
Cubs.
You learned that at Columbia, huh?
That's right.
Oh,
Rob's dream matchup in the Super Bowl would be the Cowboys versus the Patriots, and somehow they both lose. I don't know how, but they just both
It's a
lose.
tie, 0-0 tie.
That wouldn't be bad.
Like that, yeah.
I'm telling you, we have to start the show from now on when you guys come out, like before.
yeah,
you
we got to get that
set.
entry. We got to get that.
What's Rob's walk-up song?
Okay.
Thanks so much for joining us, guys. Coming up, Michael Jordan's daughter tells Shannon no way, no how LeBron catches MJ. We'll show it to you next.
Is it a force of nature or a sales event? The season of Audi sales event is here.
Where is he?
We're never putting Chris in charge of the guac again.
Chris is late with the guac.
What?
Chris isn't there with the guac, man.
Are you kidding me?
Well, who put Chris in charge of the guac?
Chris is late with the guac.
Come on in, one job.
Oh, Chris.
Finally. Guacamole made with avocados from Mexico is always there. They're always fresh and always in season, even when Chris drops the ball.
Avocados from Mexico.
This is a toast to us, the Unstoppables, and our thirst to move forward, to leave our legacy. We are one, and the stage is ours. We are an undeniable force, and nothing will stop us. Just watch. Es nuestro momento.
Your source for everything NASCAR is NASCAR Race Hub on FS1.
Here's what you need to know.
From the studio to the track.
3, 2, 1.
Our team of experts will bring you the stories
This year will not define his career.
and the highlights that matter
Joe Gibbs has got a better program than most people do.
from the legends who have lived it.
I'm saying he's going to be a real threat for the championship.
Get in the hub with NASCAR Race Hub at its new time, weeknights at 6 Eastern on FS1.
There's 5 things I care about: the economy, healthcare, sports, education, and respect for Tom Brady. I am inspiring America. You and I have a lot in common.
Like this.
Yeah. To be interesting. You've got to be interested. I'm not trying to be relatable. I'm elevatable.
Colin, you're on fire.
I may have just changed the entire world.
Dak Prescott and the Cowboys collide with the Eagles. And in America's Game of the Week, the Redskins fight for a playoff spot against Odell Beckham Jr. and the Giants. It all begins at 11 Eastern. And don't miss a huge doubleheader on Fox.
I do this, there's no turning back.
If you missed any part of the exciting new season of Gotham, watch anytime on Fox Now.
This is the home of grit, swagger, and passion. This is where intensity and tenacity go hand in hand. This is where names are made and where only the toughest can survive. Because this is the home of champions. The Big East on FS1 all season long.
Polaris from United.
Dak Prescott and the Cowboys collide with the Eagles. And in America's Game of the Week, the Redskins fight for a playoff spot against Odell Beckham Jr. and the Giants. It all begins at 11 Eastern. And don't miss a huge doubleheader on Fox.
No mercy, no mercy, no mercy. Let's go face to face. I embrace debate. I don't make mistakes. I just make my case. Drop spike when I'm done. What more can I say? Not bite. Turn my tongue. I don't like the taste. I'm on and I'm on and I own my opponent. I'm always in the zone. Either zone out of zone. And then we could get it poppin'. Pick the topic if you want to skip and shine and skip and hoppin'. Took these sports and made them say, alright. Undisputed.
Yesterday on the show, we debated whether LeBron could ever pass Michael Jordan as the NBA's greatest player. Right before that segment, Skip tweeted, "Will LeBron ever top Jordan?" Now on Undisputed. And Michael Jordan's daughter, Jasmine, responded saying no. Plus a rolling eyes emoji.
It is? Oh, I
You know what it was.
Skip, what's your
Hey, Joy over here. Okay.
what was your reaction when you saw this?
I just learned something about that rolling eye emoji.
You knew what it was.
You know what? Jasmine just graduated from Syracuse, a degree in sports management, good school, great degree for her. And one day she may become the first female commissioner of the National Basketball Association. She might be. You just never know because she's a smart young lady. But she responded just the way her father played on the basketball court, dominantly with no wasted motion. It took her only one word to dismiss the whole concept with a no. Boom. Over. You could throw the emoji in there too, but
Oh, you like the
don't need-
emoji,
yeah,
huh?
I do like
The
the
emoji's
rolling
for effect.
It's just for effect. But the key word is N-O, and she's saying to Shannon Sharp, it's already over, and you, Mr. Sharp, need to get over it. Because clearly LeBron James has had far too many playoff disasters to ever catch and pass a Michael Jordan who had no playoff disasters. There was no meltdown. There was no freeze up ever for Michael Jordan in any series, unless I missed one. Maybe you saw one, but I didn't see any meltdowns or freeze ups.
So if Tom Brady wins Super Bowl #5, he can't pass Joe Montana,
Wait,
correct?
this is about
I'm just asking you a
LeBron
question.
James and Michael
I'm
Jordan.
just asking you a question.
Let me finish. Michael Jordan did not disappear the way LeBron did against Orlando in 2009 and Boston in 2010, and then against the Dallas Mavericks when he joined the Heat in 2011, and then in Game 6 of 2013, and then, of course, 2014, blown off the floor, the Heat did, I'm sorry about this, Joy, by a record margin. That was LeBron and company by a record
But
margin. None of that ever happened to Michael Jordan, and Jasmine knows that, so it requires one-word answer.
Well, Skip, what was she supposed to say? But unfortunately, Miss Jasmine, you do not get to determine that. You call my kids right now and ask them who's the best tight end ever played in the NFL.
Jason Witten?
I guarantee you that they're going to say Tony Gonzalez. I guarantee you that they're not going to say Jason Witten or Antonio Gates or Rob Gronkowski. What was she?
Well, how do you know? They might. Have you ever asked them?
They know.
Okay.
Just like she knows. See the thing? Skip. We give Michael Jordan so much credit and he's 6-0 in the finals. But what about the years he didn't get to the finals? If he's as great as you said he was, and he was an all-time great player, but he never beat the big three in Boston in their prime. He got swept twice by them. He never won a playoff series without Scottie Pippen. And even when he got Scottie, Detroit Bad Boys beat him 3 straight years. They got old, played well. But you know what he's done in the 30 finals games since 2011? 29.5 points, 10.8 rebounds, 7.3 assists. So the man is averaging almost a triple-double. In that series in 2014 that you talk about, he went away, he was 28, 9, and 8. Is that going away?
I would ask you, after games 1 and 2, it went back to Miami, and I want you to go tell me what happened in games 3 and 4 in Miami. This was 2-2, 1-1-1, I believe. So the next 2 games in Miami, what happened?
The Spurs shot an all-time high from the floor. What can you do? It's like watching the game last night against Toronto and Golden State. And you're looking at it, you're like, well, and I saw your tweet about, oh, I see why LeBron's going to the final because Toronto is the second best team.
He loves your Twitter.
They
and you're good follows,
Golden State
good
shot.
follow.
Golden State shot 74% from the field in the first half. If you look at that,
42-17 after a quarter.
I know I was watching the game.
You were?
Yeah, I was.
Which you were reading my tweets.
All I'm
And
saying.
by the way, you brought up yesterday, LeBron has been to 8 straight finals, and that's exactly why. He plays in the East. How can you not be in 8 straight finals?
I'm saying.
Toronto's the second best team.
He's
in
been to 6 straight.
Oh, 6
but this
straight.
year will be 7. Next year will
I
be
thought it
8,
was 8.
and he'll win.
Oh, that's what we were doing. Okay.
Yeah.
6 straight.
And he'll win this year and next year, which will give him 5 finals MVPs, also give him 5 finals victories, and he's going to win the MVP this year. So that's where we got into the debate. Skip, the thing is, like, when you start debating great players, people say, well, if you're taking a side for this guy, where you're actually trying to crap or poop on this guy's accomplishment. That's not what I'm trying to do, because there's no debating Michael Jordan. I remember when Michael came into the league, I remember the shot. I love the Tar Heels. He was the reason why I love the Tar Heels, because if you remember in '81, Isaiah and the Indiana Pacers beat Dean Smith in the finals. And then they came back the following year with Michael Jordan as a freshman. They had James Worthy on that team, Sam Perkins, Doherty. So, and they won it.
I was at every one of those games.
At the Georgetown. So I became a Carolina Tar Heel fan, well, the year before when they lost with Jimmy Black at point guard. But I became a Jordan fan in '82. So I remember him going to Chicago. And I got a bunch of his shoes. He got a bunch of my money. And I paid a lot of money to go see him play in the NBA when he came close. So he's got a bunch of my money on that end. So I'm not trying to minimize how great Michael Jordan was, because he was great, Skip. But you being disingenuous.
He was the greatest.
No.
That's what you meant to say.
He is currently. But that wasn't what we're talking about. We're not talking about. We're saying if LeBron do what I said he's going to do.
By the way, you saw early on how Michael Jordan could do something LeBron has never been able to do.
Like go to college?
He hit a clutch jump shot. How about that? As a freshman at North Carolina, he hit a clutch jump shot to win the best championship game I've ever seen. Both teams loaded with NBA-bound talent.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That was a spectacle. He won it. The freshman won it.
What about that three-point shot he hit against Orlando?
Yeah, and then what happened?
Okay,
Disappearance.
hold on.
That put him up, what, was that? That was in Cleveland?
That was in Cleveland. That was 1-1.
1-1. And then what happened?
Skip, he scored 4. Skip.
He disappeared.
Skip.
He disappears right on schedule.
But
can't close.
Skip. They had no answer for Dwight Howard. You have to understand, LeBron was average almost 37 points a game in that.
They didn't have answers for a lot of 3-point snipers that Orlando
and what did LeBron do? So what did LeBron do? LeBron is at his absolute best when he has those type of snipers around him. If you look at him now, he doesn't want anybody clogging up the middle. He wants to be able to have an open highway to the basket, and when you close it down, I'm going to kick to JR, I'll kick to Kyrie, I'll kick to Love, Shumpert to Channing Frye. So, Skip, I expected Jasmine, and she should say her father is the greatest. But, hey, if you ask a family member who they think the greatest tight end is, there's no question in my mind. Call Libby Sharp right now. Call Sterling Sharp right now.
She might.
I know.
Libby sides with Skip a lot.
She do side with Skip a lot, and that's why she ain't get no Christmas either.
Is she watching?
I ain't getting
right
no
now?
Christmas. Yes, she's watching.
Could she tweet us?
She's not on social media.
You sure?
I'm 1,000%.
We just need a yes or a no tweet. That's all we need. Yes or no, Libby.
I'm 1,000% sure my sister is not on social media.
Really?
Maybe she has a little ghost account.
No,
she's the one trolling you all day long.
No, that's Skip. But see what Skip does.
Skip doesn't respond to anybody.
No, what he does, he tweets out things that he knows he's gonna needle me, and then somebody that follows me and follow him, they'll retweet what Skip. Hey, look what your boy said.
I disagree. I think family members can be objective. What? My favorite defensive player of all time is Junior Seau.
Yeah, that's your favorite player, but you're going to say, well, Jason was the best defensive end ever played.
Yes.
Yeah, see, exactly. You know what, Skip?
We need to get Libby on here as a guest.
No, we need to
Coming up,
Libby right now.
Des Bryant back
Give
to
us a
being one of
call,
the most
Libby.
dominant receivers in the NFL. Chris Carter joins the debate next.
Undisputed.
My father says there once was a good man in you.
I went away a soldier. I came home an outlaw.
What did you do?
Breaking the rules meant nothing. You had to be strong enough to make your own. I got one guaranteed life, and I was gonna live it.
Live by Night. Rated R. Starts everywhere January 13th.
Where is he?
We're never putting Chris in charge of the guac again.
Chris is late with the guac.
What?
Chris isn't there with the guac, man.
Are you kidding me? Well, who put Chris in charge of the guac?
Chris is late with the guac.
Come on, he had one job!
Oh, Chris.
Finally! Guacamole made with avocados from Mexico is always there. They're always fresh and always in season, even when Chris drops the ball.
Avocados from Mexico.
First, there's shaving. Blades, sharp and precise. Then Gillette Shielding, comfy lubrication before and after. And also, cooling. Ooh, got goosebumps. Gillette Pro Shield Chill with lubrication before and after the blades. Shields and cools while you shave. Pro Shield Chill from Gillette, the best a man can get. Pro Shield, available with or without chill.
Hey, I'm Ty Pennington, and I've got a simple question for you. Are you paying too much for your mortgage? Well, you won't know for sure until you check with Guaranteed Rate. You can do it right now. It's that easy. With Guaranteed Rate's digital mortgage, you can choose from today's lowest rates, check your free credit scores, and even get approved online. Anytime, anywhere. All in just minutes, at no cost to you. Lowering your mortgage payment could save you thousands of dollars. Just take a few minutes right now to see how much you could save.
We were going to rent. That was the going-in plan, but the rate was so low at Guaranteed Rate that we ended up buying.
Whether you're buying a new home or refinancing your current home, get a low, low rate from Guaranteed Rate. Visit rate.com right now to find out how much you could save. Call 1-888-557-1555 or visit rate.com.
P is for permission to indulge. O is for out of this world. L is for loving the seasonal cuisine. A is for access to everything, including the aisle. R is for reclining in tailor-made bedding. And I must be dreaming. S, so long, jet lag. Polaris from United.
The return of Ronda Rousey begins with the UFC 207 prelims on FS1. As as Johnny Hendricks takes on Neil Magny. The UFC 207 prelims, Friday at 7 Eastern on FS1.
Montel here from Money Mutual. How does it feel to have your bills paid off, your car repaired, or even some relief from those bank overdraft charges? Well, go to MoneyMutual.com and you can find a lender to get up to $2,500 in as little as 24 hours. And you don't need to have perfect credit. Over 2 million people have turned to Money Mutual to find a lender. How does it feel? Well, I guess it's pretty good. Go to MoneyMutual.com today. Money Mutual, at the speed of life.
This service is not available in New York or to New York borrowers due to interest rate limits under New York law.
Lipstick taser.
The expert who said the Cowboys are going to the Super Bowl. Here we go.
Go ahead, Skip. It's all you.
I have a feeling I'm about to unleash your cowboy hating. Is it that? Is it Z? My cowboys have arrived.
Are you sleep deprived?
You have to eat humble pie. This team is not just best in the East. It's best in the NFC.
Cowboys!
That was just a taste of DJ Steve Porter's How About Them Cowboys, Shannon's favorite song. Send us your version using hashtag HowAboutSkipsCowboys. Here's a look at some of the best so far.
Top of the morning, Shannon Sharp. Top of the morning, Skip Bayless. Top of the morning, Undisputed. One thing, how about them Cowboys? Thanks for the hat, Skip Bayless.
Hey, Shannon Sharp. How about them Cowboys?
Gonna have to mute you, Shannon, just so I can say, how about them Cowboys?
How about them Cowboys? Can I get something with LeBron and Alabama? Just one thing, CC.
Oh, they're gonna be running this one for a while.
Yeah,
It's
I think
gonna,
so.
they.
You can say it around.
And unwittingly, I'm an active participant because they're using some of my sound bite. Got me in Skip's video like I'm co-signing.
But you like Dak and Zeke, right?
Yeah.
Some days.
I love them if they were on another team.
Let's talk about the Cowboys. Dez Bryant caught 2 touchdown passes in Monday's win against the Lions. Dez also added a touchdown pass of his own to Jason Witten. Before Monday, Dez only had 1 touchdown in the last 4 games. Hall of Famer Chris Carter is with us. But Shannon, let me start with you. Dez was arguably the best receiver in football back in 2014. So is Dez back?
He wasn't, but okay.
Yeah.
Arguably.
Who's arguing? The fans. Who?
I might, but that's a whole nother
Yeah,
story.
yeah, okay. No, he's not back. First of all, he's playing Detroit. Their best corner, Darius Slay, was not playing. So he's going up against probably the 3rd or the 4th, probably maybe even the 5th guy that's mainly a special teams guy. He's probably a gunner or the hold-up guy on punt return. This is what I want you to go look at because I have. Look at the 3 games that he's played against Jack Rabbit, Janoris Jenkins, the New York Giants, and Joe Hayden of the Cleveland Browns. Can I interest you, Skip? 3 catches on 18 targets and a fumble. So when he does this against a Richard Sherman or he does this against a top-level corner, then I will say Dez Bryant is back. Beating a guy that would have never played, had all these injuries not taken place, he's not doing anything. He's making $16 million a year, and he got a touchdown on a probably a second or third year guy that's undrafted. So no, he's not back. Jack Rabbit, do this on Jack Rabbit. Do this on Joe Hayden. Do this on Richard Sherman or Patrick Peterson or Akeem Talib, Chris Harris Jr. Then come on and talk to me. Then come talk to me, Dez. CC, go ahead.
You're up.
Well, this is what I do know, that if you had 70 yards in the prime of your career, they wouldn't be having a subject for you on TV. I wonder, is he back? No, we'd be like, no, he ain't back. He ain't done nothing.
70 yards for a number one receiver.
Yeah, 70 yards?
Making 16 a year, 14 million a year.
70 yards? Like 70 yards against special teams player. That's who the guy was. The guy was a special teams player. So is Dez Bryant back? No, Dez did have an injury that significantly hampered him during the season. Is he back? No, because I have higher expectations for him. All right? He caught one fade down the left-hand side. Only reason why he could catch it with one hand because he had his face mask of the other guy in his right hand. All right? He made a good back shoulder. Dak actually made the back shoulder throw. No flag on that one. Dak made an unbelievable throw on the back shoulder fade, which a lot of people are doing. And when you are a primetime player, that's an easy play to make. So is Dez back? No, I'd like to see a lot more variety. And they're going to have to be able to throw the ball down the football field for them to be a special football team in the playoffs. Of the receivers this year, Joy, I know you'll be interested in this because, he might be interested in it because I know he's not interested in it. Among the players, there was only 57 players targeted 90 times this season, all right? Dez is the absolute worst, okay? Target over 90 times, only caught 52% of those passes. The worst in the NFL of those people. The worst. So is he better than he was 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago? Yes. But is he back to elite status? I'll leave that up to other people who know a lot more about receiving than I do.
Hold on. You said, I want to make sure, are you spelling worse, W-O-R-S-E, or W-O-R-S-T?
I just spell it the way the research.
He's the worst. S-T.
He's been the worst.
Not S-E. Because worse means that like somebody could be worse than you. But when you put S-T on worst, I mean, he's the worst.
By the way, Dez Bryant does watch this show, and I'm hopeful that he's watching both of you and listening carefully to what both of you are saying right here, right now.
Well, if you got some advice for him, tell him to don't DM me anymore because I got something for him, yes.
Hey, look here. These two guys up here caught a lot of balls.
I got it.
Yeah, you're going to DM me after a game telling me watch the tape.
So
That's all I do is watch tape. That's all I do is watch
took
tape.
A DM shot at you.
Oh, he tried to. He tried to talk about his family and everything. No problem.
Okay, good.
Okay,
Glad
if you want to take care of your family when they target you 90 times, catch more of the balls because that's your job.
By the way, Darius Slay is going to play this Sunday night in Detroit, just for the record. Just wanted you to know that.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, he got to deal with Jordy.
Well, he does. He will be
and
on
Adams.
Jordy. Yep. I think he'll mostly be on Jordy. So the point is that Dez Bryant on Monday night did make, for however it was, a one-handed catch against some nobody DB. But he made a one-handed catch with the other hand on a face mask. Should have been flagged. The other kid did get flagged for interference on the play, but it should have been offsetting. But it wasn't. But he caught the ball spectacularly by his standards in the back of the end zone. That was a first this year. I hadn't seen that all year. Then they call a trick play. Didn't love that they exposed it and used it, but he threw a touchdown pass left-handed on the run, as you know, to the great Jason Witten in the end zone. Best tight. I won't go there, but
the great Jason Witten, the
great
best
Jason
tight end.
Witten, yep. And then to your point, back shoulder bullet from Dak, but Dez caught it like 2014 Dez did. He snatched it, and he's been unsure of himself all year, even on throws like that. I'm like, who are you, and where have you gone, Dez Bryant? So the point is that I'm just going eye test because I watch these games carefully every 20 fast on Monday night. It looked like he's maybe getting like 92% healthy because, as you know,
Playing fast for Dez is 4.6.
well, okay,
That's about 4.55.
But running with confidence, like moving like Dez Bryant moved in 2014. Now remember, his best ball in 2014 was the jump ball because Romo would just fling it to him if he thought he had single coverage. He just throw it up for grabs and hope he could just out jump the guy.
He
That's
threw
what
one up
he
and
did.
grabbed the Green Bay, and Dez didn't hold on to it.
Yeah, and he made the catch. that should.
That was not a catch, Skip.
Please stop it. Everybody in the world knows it was a catch.
We invited Dez last year when the NFL was changing the rules on what's a catch. We invited Dez to New York because we were going to change the rule. Dez declined the invitation too. But go ahead.
Boy, you're killing it.
Hold on. Why did he caught the ball in his dominant hand? So I'm not really impressed when you make a one-handed catch because Dez is left-handed.
Okay.
And CeCe can attest to this. It's easier to catch the ball with one hand in your dominant hand.
I'm talking about baby steps because he had a Jones fracture in 2015. And if you know Jones fractures, and I think you know Jones fractures, it is debilitating. It's hard to get over. And to his credit, he tried to push it and rush it, and it just didn't work. And he was pathetic last year. And then right on schedule early this year, he cracks his tibial plateau below his knee and had to stand and watch for 3 games as somebody named Bryce Butler looked like a pretty good Dez Bryant, actually, like a pretty solid option standing in for Dez Bryant as they won those 3 games without Dez. And the rookie quarterback had already put Dez in his place by publicly saying, I will throw it to him when he's open. I'm not going to, between the lines, I'm saying this. I'm not going to take any of his stuff in the huddle. He's not going to pull me aside and say, hey, throw me, I can do this and that and the other. Throw it up and I'll just go up and get it. Dak doesn't play that game. So he had been humbled, and now he's trying to get back into the flow. And this is all I'm saying is he got back in the flow on Monday night. He actually looked like he felt pretty good about himself on Monday night. You might have...
He playing tomato cans.
Okay, he's not playing tomato cans.
No,
but
the
point
thing
is,
about Skip, the last 3 weeks, Dez is running better.
Yeah.
He's got, you can see the bounce in his step. You can see the separation at the top of his routes. Yes, those things are better than he had been during the season, and that was a significant injury earlier in the season.
What did you notice against Jackrabbit, though?
Oh, I know what happened. I know what happened. That wasn't no double coverage. That was that cat coverage. I got this cat, and I'm better than that cat. I'm better than that cat.
And late in that game, my cat beat that cat on a slant, and the ball's
cat
right
said, "Give
there.
me that."
And he said,
And
let
what
me have it.
And
Let
what
me have it
happened?
back. Let me have it back.
At some point,
Right?
Skip, when the ball's in the air, do you realize from an offensive standpoint, when the quarterback throws the ball, when the ball's in the air, you know whose ball that is? It's anybody's ball. But Janoris let Dez know, that's my ball, Dez. And at the point of the reception, the receiver has to make up his mind, that's my ball over anyone's ball. You saw Seattle, they lost the Super Bowl. Why? Because Lockett said, that's not my ball. I don't know who they throwing that to. Malcolm Butler breaks on it, that's my ball. So when the ball is in the air, the ball can be had by anyone. All right?
I got it. No,
He took the ball away from
I'm
him.
with you. Now Dez Bryant is simply a cog in the Dak attack. You hate when I say that, but that's what he is. He's just a cog, and he got humbled into just being a cog. He's an important cog, and he could be a really important cog in a couple of weeks when they play a game that really counts at home against a really good team, because he might make 4 or 5 catches that determine and dictate the outcome.
No,
of the
they
football
need him
game.
to.
Yeah.
If they're going to be special, Dez is going to have to be
Not
special.
against Jackrabbit.
And I don't think that Dez, that he's not capable of doing that.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not a huge fan as far as Dez, as far as his route running. I believe that he hadn't improved that much. I believe his releases off the ball, they aren't great. His cuts at the top of his route, they aren't consistently good. The end cut, the dig and go, he ran against Minnesota. That's probably one of the best routes he ran in his career. Oh, that's when he DM'd me. Oh, did you see that route? Yeah, I'm at the game. They were actually honoring, I was at the game. Yes, I watch all the games, and I watched the all 22 copy.
But wait, didn't the safety, who was it, Harrison Smith,
Harrison Smith
bid on that?
yes.
He just bit like crazy?
Yeah, but it was a great route. I'm just talking about the fundamentals.
Okay.
I had no problem with Dez Bryant as a person. I'm about the fundamentals. And I believe that you should be an expert craftsman as far as separation, routes, releases, and making plays. And when I have 70 yards, I don't expect to be on Skip Bayless's show talking about I'm elite. Oh, I made a comeback. Praise the Lord. 70 yards. Stop.
The thing that I love about the coaches' tape, the all 22, is what teams and players normally look at, is because it doesn't know what color you are. It doesn't know how much you make. All it does is record what it sees. And when you can tell me, see, I see better than I hear. They keep telling me, but when I cut that tape on and I see Jackrabbit playing U-man football, who you got? I got this man. You man. You the man I got. and he don't go anywhere, when I see Joe Hayden sit down in that chair in front of him and he doesn't go anywhere.
I got every Cowboys game downloaded on my computer and every other NFL team. So just in case some receiver would say, hey, he don't know what he's talking about. Okay. Sometimes the numbers do lie, but sometimes the numbers tell a horrible truth that people don't want to know. In this season, Dez Bryant has been average. Regardless of what the other Cowboys are doing, Dez Bryant's been average. Now, he can be elite in the playoffs, and they're going to need it for them to finish out the season with a special season.
See, people, when you or I or somebody that played the game and we critique these players, they take it personal. Oh, you can't say Shannon Sharpe didn't do that because Shannon Sharpe did do that. You can't say Shannon Sharpe didn't win because since the merger, Shannon Sharpe got 12 consecutive playoff wins. No other player can say that. So I know what I'm talking about. So you might can fool those fans that, oh, how about them Cowboys? Or you might can fool those fans, how about this? You can't fool me because I watched too much hours. Not the 3 hours that I was watching at practice, but I was going home watching another 3 hours because I needed to know what this guy was doing. And it was like Albert Lewis, I would have my coach give me tape on him covering a receiver because he's not going to cover me like people cover tight ends. I need to know what his strengths and what his weaknesses were. So was he a right hand press guy and to open up? Was he a left hand or was he just going to try and feather?
Right.
Where he's just going to be in front of me but try and dance because he didn't want me to get my hands on him. Guys, what we're trying to do is we're trying to offer an insight to people that's watching at home that's why I don't watch the sound because I don't need to hear because I need to know. I know what I'm looking for. We're trying to give the people at home an inside glimpse because I'm not only concerned about the end results, I need to know why the results happened. And see, I can tell you why the results happened. That was a bull jive route because you ran the loop, you let the corner run you to the sideline, and now the quarterback basically got to drop the ball out of the sky in your arm. Give him a place to throw the football. But quarterback, you got to make a better throw also. You see the corner on his upfield shoulder. Why are you throwing it up there?
So wait, aren't you going to throw the tape of Shannon Sharpe making a great runner?
No.
Wait, come on. I want to see some tape. I want to see 84.
This is what you tell the people. My cement is dry, okay? They already got it.
Got the partner
Go to George Hallis Avenue. They got everything in
maybe
there.
maybe Des is just looking for approval from you because he looks up to you.
No. You just don't get the stamp of approval unless you get it.
I've done some work with Dez and his people and everything. Dez wants someone to be a fan. He wants someone to pat him on the back. But the truth of the matter is, as far as people they targeted 90 targets this year, Dez Bryant is the worst in the NFL.
One last point. Has Dez Bryant not had issues publicly with me this year? Yeah, several. Just for the record.
Well, good for him. Yeah. Good. He can throw us all in there. No problem.
Hey,
I don't want to be involved.
I'm not president of nobody's fan club. I'm going to call it like I see it.
Matter of fact, Joy, I saw you, and based on your background, your family, your athleticism, I think you can run a better comeback than him.
I do not. I cannot do that. Get me in trouble, Chris. Coming up, Richard Sherman. That's the good thing. You were once. Says we'll miss him when he's gone. What does Chris think about the situation in Seattle? Next.
Bye.
If you're
Whoa.
No. Gotta make more guac.
What's the holdup?
Matt's making more guac.
You couldn't wait for the 2-minute warning? What's going on?
Matt's making more guac.
Guacamole made with avocados from Mexico is always there. They're always fresh and always in season, which is worth the delay of game.
Avocados from Mexico.
Here you go, Mr. Brown. Antonio Brown.
Stay one step ahead with Visa Checkout.
Hey, you got a little sauce.
Visa, everywhere you want to be.
Use Visa Checkout to buy a Papa John's pizza, and you can get your next one-topping pizza free.
This is a toast to us, the Unstoppables, and our thirst to move forward, to leave our legacy. We are one, and the stage is ours. We are an undeniable force, and nothing will stop us. Just watch.
es nuestro momento.
Dak Prescott and the Cowboys collide with the Eagles. And in America's Game of the Week, the Redskins fight for a playoff spot against Odell Beckham Jr. and the Giants. It all begins at 11 Eastern. And don't miss a huge doubleheader on Fox.
You're broken down and tired.
Ever since Star was little, she believed her name was who she was.
The minute I heard that girl sing, it made me feel we got the makings of a supergroup.
Stay away from those girls.
And we'll rise up. I like the waves. We'll rise up.
This is your dream.
Babe, this is my dream for us.
Some people, no matter what they were born into, were meant to be so much more.
If you missed the premiere, watch anytime on demand or Fox Now.
There's 5 things I care about: the economy, healthcare, sports, education, and respect for Tom Brady. I'm not trying to be relatable. I'm elevatable.
You're on fire.
I may have just changed the entire world.
Your taxes, 1.
We knew that this was the worst scenario that we could be dealt.
I have to paint my face every morning, and I don't really recognize myself anymore.
There's so much unknown. Without research, I don't know where Eileen would be right now.
Help us end cancer in our lifetime. Make your tax-deductible donation now at cancer.org.
You got it. What do you think?
If you're going to wish, wish big at the Lexus December to Remember sales event. Get up to $2,500 customer cash on select 2016 and 2017 models for these terms. See your Lexus dealer.
Start your Sunday with Fox NFL Kickoff and Fox NFL Sunday. Then the Cowboys collide with the Eagles, and in America's Game of the Week, the Redskins fight for a playoff spot against the Giants. Or other regional action. Coverage begins at 11 Eastern on Fox. Pete Carroll said he expected Richard Sherman to apologize to the media for his actions last week when he threatened to, quote, ruin a media member's career and have his credentials taken away. However, yesterday, Sherman declined to hold his weekly press conference. Instead, Sherman spoke at his locker, saying, "It's a privilege to have me up there. You're going to miss me when I'm gone." We're joined once again by Chris Carter. Chris, what's your take on Richard Sherman?
Well, we've seen a lot of players go through this. Typically, the marquee players on a team, the club's going to make arrangements for when you're going to talk to media. Typically, you're going to be required to talk 2 times during the week. After the game, that's mandatory, and 1 time during the week where they set up a podium and you address everyone, compared to the rest of the players doing it in the locker room. The reason why you don't do it in the locker room, because it's an inconvenience to the other players, and typically the locker room, that's free time in the locker room. So a reporter can go to any of the other players, not the marquee players, and the other players can still have some type of privacy during their lunch hour. So it's the same thing we went through in Minnesota. I was very, very fortunate. We had a lot of marquee players, so we used to keep the rotation going. But once we got Randy there, it was a whole totally different story. So what we did was we rotated. Both of us had to talk after the game, and we rotated which week Randy. So I only had 8 interviews during the prime of my career because Randy only had 8. So we rotated so it made it a lot easier for both of us, and it really made it easier for Randy.
So you didn't like doing it?
No, it wasn't that I didn't like doing it. It was just a matter of function. It didn't help me play better.
Okay.
But I realized that the media, I wasn't going to cut them off because I realized what they're trying to do. But once we got Randy and I both aren't going to be addressing the media every week in and week out. And we had a number of other star players on the team. So that's the system. Bob Hagan and the Vikings worked out for us. It was a very, very successful system. As far as Richard Sherman, we've heard players say that before. Yes, you're going to miss me. The NFL's not going to miss him. And I just have a feeling that he's going to be in the media. So he's going to be contradicting himself. So you miss me, but I'm working in the media. So it's kind of it's kind of Richard not really understanding how big the league is. The league and the media that's following the NFL is way bigger than you. And we've been playing this game for 97 years, and I haven't seen them. Peyton Manning, he's not playing this year, right?
They still play games.
They're still playing? Are they still doing interviews?
I think so.
Like, so everything is still functioning. Like on the field, off the field, everyone's making money. Right. So don't be disillusioned with trying to think that you're more important than what you really are. Work the system, Richard, which is in the best interest of your long-term career, which is going to be in the media, and you owe it to the media and to the local fans to be able to make some kind of contribution to what's really going on the team, because it helps the people who are cheering for you, all right? And those are the fans. So only one you're hurting is yourself and your fan base by not addressing the media. And, Richard, you have said some great things to the media. You have been such a breath of fresh air sometimes in saying things that we haven't seen other players say. So I think Richard should get back to staying focused on playing, get back to doing his weekly press conference, because that's really who he is. Don't try to be some renegade. Don't try to be like Marshawn Lynch, because you're not. But this is the problem that Seattle created a number of years ago by the way they let the guys handle the media.
I'm a firm believer. Money and power will reveal a person who they really are. This is who Richard Sherman was. See, when I came as a 7th-round draft pick, it was an honor for them to talk to me. So as I moved up through the ranks, I became a better player. I had an obligation to talk once a week. I made more money. I treated them the same way because I know what it's like to be on the bottom man on the totem pole. And so the young guys, I remember when Adam Schefter got there. I remember when Sage Steele first got her start doing in Baltimore. And they will tell you, I treated them the same way. Adam saw me coming up, 7th-round draft pick. I treat him the same way when I was a 7, 8-time Pro Bowler, won Super Bowls, and had a resume that was worthy of being.
Did that benefit you?
It did benefit me because I think the thing is for me is that I want people to talk about me in a way that when I'm not around, I can be pleased with. And I think for the most part, you go to CBS and you ask them what type of person Shannon was, they'll give you a positive review. If you go ask my teammates in Baltimore or Denver what type of person I was. But, you know, a lot of times, CC, when people ask professional players, what was he like? We got to be PC. We got to be, well, you know, he was a good dude. I mean, he worked hard. Now, he was tough to get along with, but he worked hard. Go ask the front office people. Go ask the equipment guys. Or go ask the training staff. Go ask the people that worked in the laundry room or did the meal prep. That's what they'll tell you. A privilege, Richard Sherman, the privilege is yours because you get an opportunity to play in the National Football League and you're one of the guys that your team selected because they think enough of you. They think you can speak intellectually enough that you will be a very, very good representation of the Seattle Seahawks. You're not providing them with the privilege. I said earlier, the privilege would be having the great Maya Angelou invited to her house and have her read me poetry. That's the privilege.
Yes.
Having Richard Sherman do something that 70 other people do every week, that's not a privilege. And to have him be condescending and to think he's better than me because he got a Stanford degree, that's not a privilege. I don't know what life and who told him, but they told him wrong.
Well, Richard Sherman, too, he's in on the upswing of Seattle as an organization. All right, there's no player, Marshawn has a couple, but there's no player in Seattle Seahawks history who has made more money from marketing than Richard Sherman. Right. So be careful. Like, Seattle wasn't a team that was in the national spotlight.
No, they were not.
And your success on the field and your accolades has brought you this attention and also this money. Because I'll look at Darrelle Revis, really an introverted person, very quiet. He's been the premier corner guy in the last 10 years, right?
Yes. Yeah.
What commercial's he on? You see him on TV talking about anything, endorsing any product?
Nope.
But he's been the best, right? So obviously, Richard has surpassed him and Patrick Peterson. I don't see Pat Pete doing anything. I see Larry Fitzgerald doing some national coverage. Right. I don't see Peterson doing any commercial. So somewhere along the way, Richard, you have missed this. This is beyond ability. This is about marketability and your ability to be able to speak. And people like hearing what you have to say.
I agree. Richard was brilliant at talking his way into the public consciousness. Yes. He made himself a household name. He backed it up on the field, but we talked about it earlier. He went after Tom Brady on the field after that, you
mad, bro,
game. And then he went after Revis on Twitter, and Revis, I thought, made the mistake of stooping to fire back on Twitter, and it made Richard Sherman a guy. It made him an entity. And then he started to really back it up. And then we talked about the post-game interview after the Crabtree.
NFC Championship.
Yeah. And all of a sudden, boom, he exploded. And he can really talk now. And you're right. I said the same thing to Shannon earlier. Refreshingly candid and well-spoken and insightful on a lot of issues. But now it's almost like, to use the old expression, that Pete Carroll created a monster that he can't sort of control now.
Yes.
Because, listen, Richard Sherman dared to think, and we talked about it the day after it happened, but he went to him, as we saw the video, on the sideline as if he had veto power over the play calls.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's unacceptable. You will not do that. That's unheard of in this league. A defensive player, now you might have gone to your receiver coach, or maybe you even went to the coordinator, or certainly to the quarterback and said, no, you got to do this, that, and the other.
I've done that what Richard Sherman did, and every time I was wrong. Every single time I was wrong.
All right.
I never did it. I never did. Because you know why? My job, I felt that you were, all the practice that we've gone through, all the tape that you had watched, that you were putting us in the best situation.
Okay.
And you were calling the plays that you felt gave us the best chance to win. Richard Sherman, all of a sudden, you remember this, and a lot of viewers won't, but you remember when President Reagan, the assassination attempt by Hinckley, and then Alexander Haig says, I'm in charge. Wait a minute, bro. You go bypass the vice president? You go straight. You don't go to the coordinator. You don't go to a position coach. You go straight to the head coach and say, bro, you will not do. What?
Okay, so then the head coach said publicly 2 days ago, Richard is going to apologize to the media because we've had a talk and I've talked to the team. Not only did he not apologize, he skipped the whole session and said, you're going to miss me when I'm gone. Well, that's just blatant defying of the authority of Pete Carroll. So what happens today? I want to know.
Skip.
I want to be a fly on this wall.
The coach, obviously, they had a conversation. He says you're going to apologize. Not only did Richard Sherman not apologize, he doubled down and says, not only am I not going to apologize, I'm not going to do the entire media interview. So how about that?
Pete?
And it's what Pete created.
He did.
And it's kind of what, besides the NCAA, that's what made everything fall apart at USC.
That's correct.
Before he left.
That is true. That's a good point.
Hold on, what did this get? Production and tolerance.
Yeah, there you go.
Tolerance will never be above production.
Absolutely.
See, you know that. So when that thing starts to get like this, guess where Richard Sherman's going to be?
And all of a sudden, he doesn't have Earl Thomas back there to
cover all that ground.
The greatest makeup artist in football. If you got some blemishes on defense, Earl will cover them up for you.
Chris, thanks so much for joining us.
And Skip, I'm sorry, Dez wasn't the worst. He was the fifth worst. Brandon Marshall was the
Oh, so you have to uncircle it?
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, so he.
I like it anyway.
But he's in the top 5.
Shannon said he the fifth worstest.
Yeah, the worst. The ST, not the SE, the ST.
SE. Chris, thanks so much for joining us. And be sure to watch Chris and Nick Wright coming up next on The Herd. And coming up with us, is Shannon going to roll with Nick Saban? Is he going to roll with him?
It's a roll.
Who's the best coach in the college football playoff? We discuss that next.
See, you know, stop playing.
And I won't back down.
Shh. You want to take this inside?
We are so taking this inside.
I would love to take this inside, and I will destroy you. Here comes the food!
My father says there once was a good man in you.
I went away a soldier. I came home an outlaw.
What did you do?
Breaking the rules meant nothing. You had to be strong enough to make your own. I got one guaranteed life, and I was gonna live it.
Live by Night. Rated R. Starts everywhere January 13th.
Whoa!
No. Gotta make more guac.
What's the holdup?
Matt's making more guac.
You couldn't wait for the 2-minute warning? What's going on?
Matt's making more guac.
Guacamole made with avocados from Mexico is always there. They're always fresh and always in season, which is worth the delay of game.
Avocados from Mexico.
Here you go, Mr. Brown.
Stay one step ahead with Visa Checkout.
Hey, you got a little sauce.
Visa, everywhere you want to be.
Use Visa Checkout to buy a Papa John's pizza, and you can get your next one-topping pizza free.
This is a toast to us, the Unstoppables, and our thirst to move forward, to leave our legacy. We are one, and the stage is ours. We are an undeniable force, and nothing will stop us. Just watch. Es nuestro momento.
The Daytona 500 is a career-making race. You win here, it's on your resume forever.
The 2006 Daytona 500 began Jimmy Johnson's unprecedented run as NASCAR Cup Series champion. 11 years and 7 titles later, he eyes an 8th. The 500 is the spark that fuels the ride to chase supremacy. That's how Jimmy does Daytona. This is the home of grit, swagger, and passion. This is where intensity and tenacity go hand in hand. This is where names are made and where only the toughest can survive. Because this is the home of champions. The Big East on FS1 all season long.
Advanced is missing is the price. We're so sure Instaflex Advanced will give you fast relief. We'll give you a complimentary sample. To claim your sample, text ADVANCE to 369-369. Instaflex Advanced is great for fast-acting relief of joint discomfort in your knees, hands, and even your hips. Get a complimentary bottle now by texting ADVANCE to 369-369. Instaflex Advanced samples are not available in stores, so text ADVANCE to 369-369 now.
You'll never take me alive. You'll never take me alive. No matter how hard that you try, I'ma keep on fighting till the day I die.
We are a little more than 50 hours away from the college football playoff kicking off. Shannon, who is the best coach in the playoffs?
What are hidden cameras?
What are we looking for?
Y'all got me on candy camera. Y'all trying to punk
There's
me.
cameras everywhere.
Y'all trying to
but
punk
nobody's
me.
trying to punk you.
Stop, Joy. Hold on. I got to pick between Coach Nick Saban, Coach Dabo Swinney, Coach Urban Meyer, Coach Chris Peterson.
That's
as the
correct.
best coach of those four.
That's a great question. Hard one to answer.
Skip,
Who you got?
You know I got to say, Nick. This man, first of all, it's okay. This man is a Mount Rushmore quarterback, head coach. If he never coaches another game, if he coach Bear Bryant, Coach Nick Saban, Coach Frank Leahy, you like Tom Osborne, Dr. Tom Osborne.
Yep.
You like maybe Barry Switzer, maybe one of the USC, John McKay, John Robinson. Maybe you like one of those. But he's a Mount Rushmore head coach currently. Skip, 4 titles in 7 years, 9 straight 10-win seasons. Do you know this, Skip? This season, he's beaten 8 top 25 teams by an average of 24 points. Since Nick Saban arrived in Tuscaloosa, If you name a defensive stat, his team is number one in it. You want scoring D? Number one. You want pass D? Number one. Rush D? Number one. Non-offensive touchdowns? Number one. Takeaways? Number one. Name something on defense. It's in Tuscaloosa.
Giving up 40 points in some games. Number one.
If he gave up 1,000 points, he would still be number one. That's how they shut people down. And put some respect on the man's name. Skip.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to disrespect the man because Urban Meyer is a better all-around football coach than Nick Saban, who is a little overrated, dare I say, thanks in part to you, large part to you. Because let's look at what Urban Meyer has done. Just since he arrived at Ohio State, he has the best record in all of college football. But let's go back to Utah. He led Utah to an undefeated season in 2004. Undefeated, and they went on and won the Fiesta Bowl.
Yep.
Then at Florida, he won 2 national championships, as we all know, in 06 and 08. Way to go, Tim Tebow. And then at Ohio State, he starts off 12-0 undefeated, but they couldn't go to a bowl that year. 12-2 the next year. 14-1 national championship. 12-1 Fiesta Bowl win, and 11-1 now, and they obviously have a chance being one of the final 4 teams left. And meanwhile, we look across the table at Nick Saban, and we say, gee, he needs Lane Kiffin to call his plays. Urban calls his own plays. Urban runs his own offense.
How many plays did Tom Landry call?
Wait a minute.
Coach Landry, how many plays did he call?
Oh, all of them.
So Bill Belichick doesn't call any plays. Is he a great coach?
Yeah.
Coach Belichick.
Defense.
He doesn't call any of them. He don't have no play sheet.
All right,
Right.
but
Matt
we're
Patricia.
talking about, again, Bill Belichick. I've told you it's Tom Brady over Bill Belichick. I've told you that from the start. So that's a whole nother argument.
We'll debate that one
But
another day.
He needed Lane Kiffin to turn around his offense, and now he's going to put the offense in the hands of Steve Sarkisian. So wait a second. Urban Meyer calls all his own offensive plays and runs his own scheme, but Nick Saban's specialty is the defensive side of the football, which has actually been his frailty at Alabama, because I look at all these games and we don't have time for me to run down the long laundry list of disasters, but 45 to Oklahoma in the Sugar Bowl. I'm just going over the last 3 or 4 years here. 44 to Auburn and Nick Marshall at quarterback. He's now a special teams player for the Jets. 43 to Ole Miss at Tuscaloosa. Ole Miss, Chad Kelly scored 43, then 43 to Ole Miss again this year, and 42 to Johnny Manziel, and 42 to Urban Meyer's offense, 230 yards to Zeke in that game, and then 40 to Clemson in last year's national championship game, and managed to outscore them with some special teams run backs and the trick play and the onside, blah, blah, blah. Really, that's your specialty, and you give up so many 40-point games just in the last 4 years? I got to tell you, that's being a little overrated, because I think Urban Meyer in his specialty is stronger than Nick Saban in his specialty.
Since Coach Meyer has been at the University of Ohio State, how many national championships have Coach Saban won since he's been at Ohio State? Remember, Nick Saban ran him out of Florida because of he was sick. The doctor told him to get away from coaching, but somehow they had a special kind of remedy in medicine up at Ohio State that caused him, that healed him for what was going on at the University of Florida. Coach Saban ran him out of the SEC.
After he won 2 national championships?
Ran him out.
Ran him out?
Ran him out.
I think he just needed a year off to refuel.
You need a year off to refuel because, they got a special type of a hospital up at Columbus. Heard they got great hospital, great doctors care up there. You named all those games, and even with all those games, he's still number one in scoring, D.
This year,
number one in.
Yeah, this year.
Since he's been there, if you add the totality of it, there's not a defensive stat that he's not number one. 4 national champions, 7 years. What other coach can say that? Can Urban Meyer say that?
No, but he's a better all-around football coach.
How?
I just told you how. He calls his own plays. He runs the offense. It's Nick run.
So let me see. He doesn't need to run anything. Coach Belichick doesn't call plays. There are a lot of great coaches that didn't call plays. Did Chuck Noll call offensive plays? No. That doesn't mean he's not. But this is what you try to do. You try to say, well, if he was so great, why don't he call plays? His job as a head coach isn't necessarily to be hands-on. His job is to get the guys, put them in place, You hire assistants and you let them do their job. He doesn't micromanage because you know why? He says, I done laid the foundation. Troops, hit the field and go get busy.
He's going to miss Lane Kiffin.
That's why we got Sarkisian.
We?
Alabama.
No, it's we.
Hey, McElwain.
Always
He
we.
went to Colorado State. Did they miss it? Lane Kiffin, he's going to Florida Atlantic.
I think you might be a front runner, Shannon.
No.
I'm not sure, but I think you might.
I'm a runner. I'm a winner.
Coming up, should LeBron have criticized the NBA? Rob Parker will be here to debate that. But first, check out a very special holiday message from all of us here at FS1.
Cowboys game coming up. Party at my house. Who's in?
Will you be providing food? Asking for a friend.
Hope you like ham.
No Christmas leftovers, cowherd.
Ugh. Ham is so gross.
How big is your TV? I want to get a good look at Dak's face when he loses.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. How are you sure about that?
Take it from an NFL Hall of Famer.
Okay, I will. Cowboys are going to smoke the rest of the NFC like a Christmas ham. P.S. Colin, I heart ham.
That's one vote for ham.
Please, no ham.
Who doesn't like ham?
Are we debating the Cowboys or ham?
The Cowboys are the best team in the NFL, and Dak clearly should be the MVP.
Unbelievable.
Aaron Rodgers is the MVP.
Only one MVP, Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Ham?
I meant him. Damn phone.
One vote for ham.
Can we be done with the ham?
It's the MVP of Christmas food.
Ham is like LeBron. Big, tough, and everybody wants to see it on Christmas.
What the hell are we talking about now?
Ham.
Thumbs down. Ham isn't even close to being the best meat.
Come on! You ever hear of Canadian bacon?
It's tasty, scrumptious, and circular.
I think I'll watch the game by myself.
What? Then where are we going to watch the game?
Don't worry. I'm throwing a Cowboys watch party, and you're all invited.
Really? What time can we come over?
February. It's a Super Bowl party.
To be free in this life, breaking the rules meant nothing. You had to be strong enough to make your own.
We do what we want to do. Go where we want to go.
I'm crazy about her.
Crazy isn't love.
You spend your life hoping someone will punish you for your sins. Well, here I am.
This will definitely bring bloodshed. Live by Night. Rated R. Starts every January 13th.
We're never putting Chris in charge of the guac again. Chris isn't there with the guac, man.
Come on, he had one job!
Chris! Guacamole made with avocados from Mexico is always there because they're fresh all year, even when Chris drops the ball.
Avocados from Mexico.
Here you go, Mr. Brown. Antonio Brown.
Stay one step ahead with Visa checkout.
Hey, you got a little sauce.
Visa, everywhere you want to be.
Use Visa checkout to buy a Papa John's pizza, and you can get your next one-topping pizza free.
This is a toast to us, the Unstoppables, and our thirst to move forward, to leave our legacy. We are one, and the stage is ours. We are an undeniable force, and nothing will stop us. Just watch. Es nuestro momento.
You talk about the Cowboys and the Patriots like they're like your kids.
That's the hottest seat in sports media. This is undisputed.
People magazine says your sides will be sore from laughing at Son of Zorn.
I am Zorn, defender of sanitation solutions. Sorry about that. Sorry.
Watch anytime on these platforms.
And watch now for 7 days free.
Why are you checking your credit score?
I think we could finally get a bigger place.
Yeah. Let
Let me check my score, too.
Try Credit Karma. It's free.
Credit Karma. Give yourself some credit. Not everyone speaks Sriracha.
Sriracha.
But when a fan says
Sriracha.
they want a Sriracha chicken sandwich with Sriracha Jack cheese, Sriracha infused aioli, and a Sriracha bun. Wendy's spicy Sriracha chicken sandwich for a limited time.
The return of Ronda Rousey begins with the UFC 207 prelims. As Johnny Hendricks takes on Neil Magny. An epic night begins with the UFC 207 prelims on FS1.
There's some kind of attack coming.
I have to try and stop him.
Why does it need to be you?
Because right now, I'm the only one I can trust.
24 Legacy after the Super Bowl on Fox.
When I was playing ball, they called me the Big Hurt. But after I left the game,